Welcome back to Into the Introvert. I'm JB and I'm an introvert. And you guessed it, we're going to talk about introversion on this podcast. Now, our working definition for this podcast, at least for now, introversion is how you derive your energies. And for introverts, that's internally. We recharge our battery banks, however you want to label it, internally. And most of the time, that's done alone. For me, I'm no social scientist. I'm just here talking about my experiences as an introvert, as someone who lived on this earth as an introvert, and telling you what I've been through. Hopefully it resonates with you. And if you identify as an introvert, just know that introversion is a spectrum. There's all different kinds of introverts out there. I don't claim to know them all. I just know my type, and I just speak from my perspective. If you have different experiences, please let me know. Go to intotheintrovert.com, submit your story, let me know your experiences as an introvert on the topics that we're talking about, and we can have a discussion on the podcast about them. If you're watching on YouTube, you can put it in the comments. We can have a conversation there as well. Or you can DM me at Real Introverted Style on Instagram. That's at IntrovertedJB. Check me out on any one of those places. And if you can't find me there, I'm sure you can find me wherever you need to. I'm open to have conversations with introverts because this is community right here. Without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Being an introvert while owning a pet. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you see I got my pet right here, and he's breathing kind of loud, so he might be being picked up on the microphone. I don't know how it sounds right now, but I'll see it in post. But right now, he just woke up from a little nap, so he's a little tired. But during the quarantine, we had an episode about the quarantine, being an introvert and being in a quarantine. Check that out. But on that episode, I forgot to mention that one of the things that came out of it for me is I got a pet. Now, it's always been on my mind to get a dog. I wanted a dog for a long time. I actually live near a dog park, so I see dogs all the time. But I just didn't have the time. And due to quarantine and being forced to, work remote and do everything remotely, basically, I found the time. All of a sudden I had the time on my hands, and I wanted to be there. I didn't want to get a dog unless I was able to be there to raise it, at least for the first 6 months of its life, to be able to be present, because I know that's a critical part of a dog's, growth and attachment and bonding experience. So I wanted to make sure that I had the time. And now that I had the time, I went on a hunt, and maybe hunt is not the right word. I went on a search for, a proper, breeder, all that stuff. I got really hip to what it takes to find a dog that, fit my needs and I can fit their needs, because this is a mutual relationship. And I know people with kids don't like to hear it, but raising a puppy is sort of like raising a kid, because they're so needy. So, my experience of being an introvert, I don't like to, put my ideas out there for public consumption. I don't know if that's an introverted thing or not, but I think that oftentimes when I got something in my mind I want to do, I keep it close to the chest, because I don't want all these other opinions on it. And getting a dog, I didn't want everybody's opinion on it. You know what I mean? I knew I wanted a dog, and I didn't want everybody to try to talk me out of it. So, I kept it to myself. Here he goes. He might have heard something. Perked up a little bit. Yeah, we're talking about you, bro. We're talking about you. Anyways, so I did my research. I found a breeder, and the breeder was kind of far, though. And I had my mindset on this dog. When you fall in love with a pet, you do what's necessary to go get it. So I traveled. I think it was about 3 hours. Traveled 3-4 hours. And if you're an introvert, you might have to travel alone. And mind you, I didn't tell too many people about this, so it was like I kind of just had to eat the ride and go. And I ended up, I didn't have to go alone, which was great, but still had to take that drive, go get the dog. And when you're an introverted pet owner, he's sniffing the mic right now. Yeah, it's foreign to him. He's never seen this thing. When you're an introverted pet owner, you got to do everything yourself. And if you're an introverted pet owner who lives alone, you really got to do everything yourself. So I got the dog, and I was not prepared. I had to be right next to it 24 hours. You know, when you get a puppy, they got to go to the bathroom almost every hour on the hour. Well, I wouldn't say on the hour because it's unpredictable. Man, peeing, pooping everywhere. Pee pads, they might as well not have been here because he wasn't using them. I know I read all the blogs and all this stuff. None of that. I didn't get any sleep the first 2 weeks because he kept being up, and we didn't have a routine. And this is where being an introvert hurt me because I didn't ask anybody. Like I said, I didn't put it out there, and I had to learn all this by myself. And really, if I would have asked dog owners or been a little bit more open to suggestions, people would have told me, and I would have been more prepared. So that was my first mistake, not asking anybody who, especially dog owners, what it was going to be like. That was my mistake. But we found a routine. We got him potty trained. Probably around, I want to say around like month 4 or 5, he stopped having accidents in the house, which is great because I hear that it's more, it's usually later than that. But around 4 or 5. So here's my little guy. This is Finley right here. He is a French bulldog, and you see him by his freckled face. We call him Flurry, McFlurry, because he looks like a little Oreo McFlurry. But yeah, this is Finn, and me and Finn hang out. And as an introvert, this is a perfect companion for me because I could talk, and guess what Finley does? He just listens. He doesn't talk back. He doesn't give me his opinion on things. I mean, other than some of the dog stuff he does. He may lick or bark or whatever, but for the most part, he just listens. And as an introvert, that's awesome because I could vent, I can get my frustrations out. I already told you I talk to myself, so talking to the dog was no problem. And I almost feel bad for him because he's got to hear me talking all day. But no, we have a good relationship. We got a good routine, and once we found a routine, everything was good. And for those of you who are looking to get a dog or looking to get a pet, please, please, please do your research so you be ready, just for your own mental, and for you to better take care of your pet. You want to be there for it in the best way that you can, and especially if you're getting a puppy. That's just like raising a baby right there. So ultimately, being an introverted pet owner it was a little rocky at first, and that's to my own doing. I wasn't open to asking people due to my introversion. I kept it quiet. I was just internalizing everything, blah 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 blah. But once I started asking, like listening, I'm asking all my friends who own dogs after a while, like, yo, did your dog do this? What's it like? When did they stop peeing in the house? All this other stuff, and you get a million opinions, and you sift out the ones that make sense and apply to you, and you let all the other stuff go. But yeah, now I got a dog, and Finley is cool. You see him right here just looking around, and he's usually just chilling for the most part. It's a really great companion, and I like to think that he likes me too. So let me know your experience of being an introverted pet owner, or let me know if you would want a pet be an introvert. Maybe you don't want to take care of something else or be responsible for another being. That's cool too. I could completely understand that because this ain't easy, and definitely you got to be mentally prepared before you go get a pet. And sometimes I hear from people that some of my other introverted friends that cats are more introverted friendly because they're less needy and they're more independent, and which is cool. I'm not a cat person per se, but I can understand that. They probably do skew more introverted, and dogs are more extroverted if we're talking about on the scale of which one. But either way, I'm happy we got Finley here, and let me know your experience. You can go to intotheintrovert.com and you could submit your experience there, or is talking to YouTube comments. And if you really are introverted and you don't want to, have this conversation outwardly, DM me on Instagram, IntrovertedJB. All right, me and Finn, we're about to go grab some grub. Good night.